Hello everybody, welcome back to ESPN's Football Forecast. My name is James Allcott and with us this week we have Djellab and Dan Edwards. Now, Zach, let's go straight to you because we're about to talk about Liverpool against Chelsea at Wembley in the Carabao Cup final. Some people turn their nose up at this competition, but this is enormous. Tell us why.
It is for Chelsea. I think we've seen a lot of talk about Chelsea in Europe next season, that in the new owners' plans being a part of Europe. I think they hoped for the Champions League was kind of expected. Doesn't quite look like Chelsea will be finishing in top 4, let alone top 5 to possibly get a Champions League place. And even finishing in the European places could be quite tough this season. And so winning the Carabao Cup obviously gets you into Europe for next season and next campaign. And it's just something that not only is it really positive on that front, but just I think for a lot of fans and for the way this new team is being built, it's like another stepping stone for Poch to have a little bit more trust as well for the rest of the season. Because once they've got that, then essentially, like, if they finish 9th, if they finish 10th, it's not the end of the world because they are still playing in Europe the following campaign. It's not the Champions League. It's, which is the dream for all of these players and for the new owners and for Pochettino. But it's something to work from. It's something for them to be able to give more minutes to players next season. Like we see Chelsea's squad and how big it is and how young it is. A lot of these guys need to be playing football, and that's something that's not really possible at the moment. So just along those kind of few things or why, but overall, it's cup final. It's Chelsea. It's Chelsea, the cup final against Liverpool at Wembley, which hasn't gone so well as well recently. We've lost the last 2
It's always Liverpool, isn't it? It seems to be recently, right?
Yeah, and it's like a 0-0 or a 1-1, then it goes to penalties and it doesn't go our way. But hopefully, with the way kind of things are looking at the moment, things seem to be going a little bit Chelsea's way. A little bit.
Okay, let's follow down that emotional road, right? Because I think, again, on the face of it, people turn their nose up at this competition, right? But as you just said that, and it's amazing how things can change. I think Chelsea fans broadly, not you, Zach, you're very respectful, would say, would sort of go, I don't even want Europa League. I want us, we need to be in the Champions League and then we can fight for the title, all those things. But this feels like the best route for them. And then you move over to Liverpool and a lot of people talk about the last dance and it all starts now. Who emotionally do you think wants this trophy the most? Bit of a weird question, but I think it will be charged in that sense because of both reasons, right?
I'm from West London, so obviously support Manchester United.
So I
don't want Liverpool to win. However, the famous Jay-Z line, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. Klopp wants the numbers. It's all about creating memories. He's created memories. Now it's about numbers. So for him, winning is a must. And regardless of what the media speculate about the injuries, players that aren't playing, that are involved, Liverpool's team will beat Chelsea.
He's gone early and I like it.
Wow. Chelsea. And the reason for that is it's a lasting memory for Jurgen. For Jurgen. And he will make sure he installs that into the players, and he understands it's going to be very limited the amount of trophies they can realistically win this season.
Just to follow up on that, so with your background in coaching, in terms of sort of coping with that emotion and utilising it as fuel instead of it becoming a bit too much, is that something that will help this Liverpool team? Because they've always kind of played on the edge under Jurgen Klopp. So the fact that it's all very heartfelt now, especially with him leaving, that won't overwhelm them, or will it? Is that something they should be concerned about going into this final?
I think it's an added incentive for the players. I mean,
can there be too much incentive?
Not when it comes to a cup final and winning trophies. Right. I think in terms of over a longer period, a season, you're going to have your highs, you're going to have your lows. However, the fact that they're now in a cup final, the talk that he now gives them, if there was cameras in that room, that would be an amazing speech. But I think that's what's going to push them even more to want to win the trophy.
Okay. When it comes to the last few games, I remember we previewed the game recently, and we were like, it's a draw, innit? Because they just keep drawing against each other. But Liverpool pretty rampant in that one, 4-1. Yeah. But since then, there's been injuries, and going into this one, it looks like, at the time of recording, and this could all be nonsense, but Salah, Nunez, Jota, Thiago, Curtis Jones, Szoboszlai, all doubts for this match. So coming into it, who do you think are the favourites?
I think Salah's a big one. if he plays, I think it does bring it basically to a neutral standard. If not, maybe edges Liverpool. Salah's one of the greatest players we've seen in England over the last decade. One of the best wingers we've ever seen in the Premier League. Realistically, his goals and numbers speak for himself. It's so tough, man, because there is that, we talk about kind of the mentality of having young Klopp. I think for the Chelsea players, they've got the mentality of, we just lost 4-1 to these guys at Anfield, and now we've got to go play them again.
How strong is the foundation of confidence at Chelsea right now? Because it's been a good few games, victories, a couple of 3-1 victories recently, but prior to that, it was looking pretty bleak.
The Aston Villa game was really, really good. We went to Villa away and had a really strong result, and not just one of those games where you kind of nicked it last minute. Chelsea from the first whistle were on top. They were dominating the game, and it wasn't really until the very end when Villa managed to put one into the back of the net. So that was a 3-1 victory. The Crystal Palace game, if the Crystal Palace game finishes 5 minutes earlier, we all sit here and go, that's a 1-1 draw. Chelsea have conceded. They didn't play that well. They didn't have their tactics or formation that great. And so, thankfully, the game did last an extra 5-10 minutes. I think the referee at halftime had his thing going on with his watch. But yeah, no, so Chelsea managed to get that result in. And then we look at the Man City result and we go, okay, now things are looking really positive. They didn't just kind of nick a 1-1 draw against City. For 70 minutes of the game, Chelsea were really fighting for it. Cole Palmer was fantastic going to the Etihad. And so I think Chelsea go into this game with confidence. I think that's how Pochettino kind of does things here. Like when a game goes against them, he brings them in and he makes sure that he kind of goes, okay, this cannot happen again. This cannot be happening. And when things happen like Villa or like Crystal Palace, he uses that to kind of drive them and grow them forward. I think sometimes when we talk about Chelsea, we forget how young these guys are. You look at the players on the pitch sometimes. Ben Chilwell is like one of the oldest ones on there when Thiago Silva isn't playing. He's only 26, 27 years old. You look at the front line and you've got a Cole Palmer who's having his first senior season of football, a Jackson who only had his first half season of football last year. And when someone like Conor Gallagher is now one of your most experienced players, like a lot of this is a learning curve. And again, Chelsea have been in finals more recently, but the players that will probably be playing on Sunday won't have been in this kind of place where they've gone to Wembley for a final. So it's going to be a new experience, I think, for a lot of them. Maybe that's partially good as well, because if it was some of the previous squad, they have lost to Liverpool several times at Wembley, so they don't have to worry about that side of things. But yeah, I think the playing field is quite even.
Not having Salah means quite possibly Harvey Elliot steps into the breach here. How do you feel about him and his development? And because I feel like games like this, these are sort of the moments where people not just kind of arrive, but really put a statement out and suggest that they're top quality. And I'm a believer in Harvey Elliot. I think I saw him in the under-21s. I think he's really special, and amazed he's actually had 100 games already, because he's obviously still so young. But this is a big moment for him if he plays and starts, right?
What I think the new generation of football players and football fans, they look at stats, and everyone's got an opinion about Harvey. What's he good at? What's he not good at? If you look at his stats, it's backed by how good he is and what he delivers in and out of possession. Yep. And I think everyone's judging Salah on his goals and what he gives to the team. But in terms of Harvey, although he may not score as many or create as many assists, his movement and what he does out of possession makes up for what Salah can provide. Yeah,
I think it's going to be interesting because he's had 22 games so far this season, Elliot. But only 4 starts. So that's going to hurt you in terms of the goals that you're going to score, 2 goals, 2 assists. But as you say, he's in the top 5% in the top 5 leagues when it comes to progressive passes at 8.43 and progressive carries as well in terms of being able to drive the ball. He's in the top 4%. He had 7 key passes against Luton in midweek. So massive game for him. Let's get to the prediction side of it. I'm intrigued. 4-1 in the last game. I'll come to you first, Dan. What do you think?
3-1 Liverpool.
Yeah, comfortable?
3-1. Comfortable.
Okay.
Comfortable.
I'm going to give you a minute, Zach. You don't have to think. Think about what you're about to put out into the world.
With or without Salah as well.
Oh, okay. Do you know what? I think styles make fights sometimes, and I think the Man City part of it is that is a team that doesn't outrageously attack with the same kind of pace and venom in transition that Liverpool do. And because of that, I feel like it should be Liverpool, but Chelsea always get away with it, and they're having a stinker of a season, and so they will absolutely guaranteed to win this one. So I think Chelsea will probably win this one, and they'll sneak it 1-0. What do you think, Zach?
I'm just thinking there, you mentioned the 4-1 result, and like Chelsea had a few, even though we lost 4-1, Chelsea still had chances. They had 2 penalty claims. One of them really should have been given, the Van Dijk challenge. And so there were still chances for them to score. Look, I'm of course going to say Chelsea going to win. I'll go with a. It's never high scoring, but apart from the 4-1,
does feel like pens a bit.
2-1 Chelsea.
Yeah,
if it's pens, that's not going to be fun. That's not going to be fun at all.
Right, guys, let us know. What do you think? How does this one end? Let us know in the comments down below.